will have seen my really popular new collection called Coven, and it is a series of witch figurines. I don't quite know where the idea came from, but I've got a number of bits and pieces in the studio. So I use upcycled, recycled, reclaimed materials, odds and ends really. And I've got some old doll parts. I've got this old polo neck that's had its day, so I've cut that up and used that for fabric. And then I actually use this to harden the fabric, um, and it's sort of a water-based, bit like a glue really, and you mix the fabric in with the material, and then it hardens, it stiffens it. So I thought it would be quite good fun to just show you the work in progress phase. This is the really messy phase, and normally I don't like to show this part, but I'm going to take the plunge and explain what the next step is. So on the very messy craft table at the moment, I have got I've got six figures. So I'm going to show you each one in turn. So this one this is called Freya. And to make Freya, I've used the armature from from an old doll that I've got at a charity shop. And then the cloaks and the dress are all made from that t-shirt that I just showed you, the polo neck with the fabric hardener. And this is what you can actually see here. So this is what I mean about it being like the really messy stage, because you can see where the fabric hardener is white still, and eventually it'll go black because the original fabric is black and the hardener is transparent. So I've made her horns from some wire that I've coated in the fabric with fabric hardener. So as that dries, that will dry hard. And then I've used some fur fabric. I'll show you it here. These are like offcuts that I got from a fur throw company. They actually sent me them for free, which I thought was really nice, in return for donating some money to my chosen charity, which is exactly what I did. And that was years ago. And I've still got just a few of the pieces left. So I thought that it would make a really good sort of fur throw kind of wrap for her. Looks a bit like feathers, a bit like fur, which is very suitable for Freya. And then I've sculpted the face over the top of the original doll using clay to make her look far more realistic. And then the lantern, this lantern here, I have actually purchased that online because I can't really find a way to make that, and I wanted something that was the right scale. So I do occasionally buy little odds bits and pieces, and so that's Freya. So she's drying. She's quite heavy because she's got some old pieces of engineering inside her. I think she's actually got a piston somewhere in there, from an industrial filler. I collect all sorts of things and they all go in. So the next one, he's going to be sort of a green man of the woods type figure. So he's holding his staff, which is a twig that I picked up on one of my runs, and his horns are sort of like goat horns, and his horns are actually made from. Let's see if I've still got it. Uh-huh. Um, a hummus tub, right? So you know you buy hummus in the shops, which I love. So I keep the tubs and wash them out. And the horn is actually made from the rim. I've just cut it in a shape. How I know what the shape is, I don't know. It's some divine gift to be able to see the shape of a horn in a hummus pot. But anyway, that's my skill and talent, so I may as well try and make use of it somehow. And so I've overwrapped the plastic with the fabric and the fabric hardener, and that makes these horns that are they won't break, but they are slightly flexible because the plastic is flexible. And then I've added a little bottle here, and it's got a piece of parchment inside that he's holding in his hand there. And that's kind of him. So he's drying as well, which is why he looks a bit grey. Once he's dry, he'll be painted, and then I coat them in a glaze. Sometimes I use a PVA based glaze if I want more of a matte finish, and other times I'll use a resin glaze if I want it to look more shiny and more metallic. So the next figure, oh, this is she's coming out really well. Really pleased with her so far. This is going to be Hecate. So she's got all sorts of things that I've used to make her, and she's still very wet, so I'm holding her with care. And I've sculpted the snake that Hecate is famous for having with clay. So I'll just twist her around so that you can see the snake here. And I want to show you this because if I turn around, you can see that the fabric hardener that I've used has actually run. And I could wipe that off, but I'm going to leave it because I think it makes for some interesting textures. So that's Hecate, and she'll be fully painted once finished. Her headdress is made from a necklace that broke. So everything gets used. Now they take perhaps 2 to 3 days to sort of harden off, and then to dry out thoroughly, they'll need, probably another couple of days after that before I can paint them. So then I've got this one here. So I'm probably going to call him the prophet because he's got a mystical ball of prophecy that he's holding in his hand there. And this one is made from an old candle holder here, which I didn't use. I stopped using. I loved it, but I stopped using it because you have to put tea lights in, and the cat. I just worry about my cat getting close to tea lights, so I've opted for candles that are in jars and covered in glass. So this used to hold the tea lights, this base bit here. And again, I've used an old doll and then fabric hardener to sculpt the shape over the top. So once I paint him, he'll look really good once he's finished. So he's kind of a prophetic figure. And then the next one, it's taking me quite a bit of courage actually to show you these in this condition because they just look really bad at the minute, but it all comes together. So so I know this is going to work. Okay, so I just have to keep the faith here. Right, so this guy he looks a bit shocking, doesn't he? Because I've used a different fur offcut. I've used this fur here to make his beard and hair. So he looks um well, it just looks like he's got bright ginger hair. Now, some of that colour I might actually keep because I love ginger hair with fiery redness, and this guy just looks quite cool with it. So his antlers, these here, these are made from twigs. So again, something like this oak twig that I've collected from my run, and I've coated it in the fabric hardener, and then attached it to his head. So this is all drying. So at the minute it's still a bit wiggly because the fabric hardener needs to set. And he's standing on just a a slice of log basically. And then in his hand, the necklace that I used for Hecate's headdress, or the charm that went on it, is here. This charm here, and it's actually in a sort of a dagger shape with two bats either side. So I thought it'll make quite a nice dagger for this kind of scale model. So again, once it's all painted, it'll all start to pop out. And then the last one is this one. So I've got Hecate, I've got Freya, sorry, this one here. This one is Ellen of the Ways because she's got the horns. This one here is um, my Freya figure because she's holding a sword, and the sword here that she's holding is actually one of those old hair clips. You wind your hair around and poke the clip in, and it sort of holds your hair in place. Her crown has got an old ring in it, and then I've used a little charm here to make the feather part of her headdress. So she's drying nicely now, and then once she's dry, I shall paint her as I see fit, really. Usually a kind of bronzy colour works well for these sorts of sculptures. So yeah, so those are the figures. So I'm just going to check some of the comments and see if anyone's got any questions. So where are we? What have we got? We've got people asking which country I support. I'm not going to answer that question. Then I've got someone saying looking for attention. I think they probably mean someone else, but well, actually, I am looking for attention because I'm an artist and I sell my work online. So this is a really great place for me to be able to share it with everybody. So yes, attention actually is something that I am looking for my artwork. Someone's asked me how long I've been on YouTube. Oh, 3 years, maybe longer than that. But I've only started doing lives quite recently, more regularly, probably about the last year or so. So yeah, it sort of grows steadily. Someone's asked me a question. I don't know who they are. I think we've got a few people on that are talking to each other about things, so I'm just going to ruthlessly ignore what's going on there, and share with you some of the other bits and pieces that I use to make my sculptures. So this is just basically twine. So it's a natural jute based twine. I'd like to try and use natural things where I can. And then some of the other things. So Hecate's dress, the front of it is made from this kind of weird chainmail stuff, which was actually on the front of a purse that came from a charity shop. And I thought, I like the texture of that, it's interesting. So I bought the purse, cut off this, and then stuck it on the front of Hecate's dress there. Once that's painted, the texture will really pop out again. So that's that. Just a nice quick drop in just to show you and let you learn a little bit more about how I make my sculptures, because a few of you have asked since you saw my collection called The Coven. Right, so I'm going to go now and have a bit of lunch, and I will be back in the studio again soon. I might actually show you tomorrow. Let me just twizzle this around if I can. I'm going to show you tomorrow me finishing off my dragon and my unicorn painting. So if you'd like to see that, then hop along tomorrow, similar time probably, and I'll see you there. Bye for now.